Welcome to The Explainer. If you're starting a construction business, you're going to want to listen up. Today, we're talking about the one thing that can literally make or break you.
So, what's the #1 reason new construction firms actually go under?
You might think it's about shoddy work or bad builds, right? Nope. It's the paperwork, specifically the quality of your contracts. Today, we're zeroing in on the single most critical relationship you'll have, the one with your subcontractors. All right, here's our game plan. We're going to cover why subs are so critical, how to pick the right ones, what your contract absolutely needs, and, what to do when things go south. Okay, first things first. Let's talk about why subcontractors matter and get into the legal stuff you just can't afford to ignore.
Right, so this looks kind of dry, but believe me, this distinction is everything. The IRS is really clear about this. Are they an employee or are they an independent contractor? With an employee, you're the boss. You tell them how, when, and where to do the job. You give them the tools. But with a subcontractor, a true independent contractor, you only get to control the final result. They bring their own gear, they're the expert. Get this wrong, and you're looking at some serious fines and back taxes. It's a foundational piece you have to get right from the very start.
Okay, moving on. Let's talk about choosing your team. Because let's be real, your business is only ever going to be as good as the subs you hire. Look, before you even think about a contract, you got to do your homework. This four-step process, it's your shield. First, how long have they been around? Are they a brand new operation or an established business? Second, you have to verify their references. And I don't mean just getting a list. I mean you pick up the phone and call other GCs they've worked for. Ask the tough questions. Third, the financials. Can they actually afford to do your job without your first payment? And fourth, do they have their own equipment? I mean, seriously, do they own the tools for the trade? This isn't just a checklist, It's about protecting your entire project from day one.
All right, Section 3. We're talking about your ironclad agreement. This is the rulebook for the whole game.
So, what makes a contract ironclad? Well, it's got to answer three really big questions, right? How do the project rules actually apply to everyone? How does the money flow from the client to you to them? And the big one, who's on the hook when something goes wrong? Let's look at 3 clauses that handle all this stuff. First up is something called a pass-through clause. It might sound complicated, but the idea is super simple. It basically says that whatever rules you agree to in your main contract with the building owner, well, they flow down to your subcontractor. So if the owner wants a specific type of paint, this clause makes sure your painter is legally obligated to use that exact paint. It keeps everyone on the same page. No excuses.
Now, this next one, it's a bit controversial. It's called a pay-if-paid clause, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It means you are only legally required to pay your subcontractor if you get paid by the project owner. Now, this can protect your cash flow for sure, but it puts a ton of risk on the sub. It's so tough, in fact, that some states have actually outlawed it. So, big warning here, check your local laws before you even think about putting this in a contract.
And finally, we've got indemnity. It's a fancy legal word, but think of it as your financial bodyguard. It basically answers the question, who pays if your sub makes a mistake that costs a lot of money? With a proper indemnity clause, your subcontractor agrees to cover any losses that are their fault. It stops you from being financially ruined because of someone else's error. You absolutely need this. All right, last section. Let's talk about what happens when things go wrong. How do you manage payments and problems, especially when a sub defaults? So, you've got a great contract, but your sub just isn't performing. What do? Panic? No, you follow the procedure. Step 1, you send them a formal written notice. Put it on paper that they are in breach of the contract. Step 2, give them a cure period. That's a reasonable amount of time, which you should specify, for them to fix the problem. And step 3, if they don't fix it, you exercise your options. Your contract should give you the power to bring in another sub to finish the job. And, this is key, bill the original sub for the extra costs. It's a professional, step-by-step way to handle a messy situation. So, let's boil it all down. Alpha Constructions really lives by these 3 rules for subcontractor success, and you should too. 1, vet before you bet. Always do your homework. 2, put it in writing. Your contract is your single best friend in this business. And 3, manage with clarity. Everyone needs to know the rules, and you need to follow your own procedures. Simple, right? But incredibly powerful.
At the end of the day, it really all comes down to this single idea. Your entire business is only as strong as its weakest contract. So, take a hard look at your process and ask yourself, are you really built to last?